Today we are.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Today
मैं
again.
ड्यूटी में हूँ सर.
Okay, sir.
2 to 10 on POT duty. Indian states.
Right.
Yeah, fish.
Okay. Yeah. So today we have gathered with another interesting topic: disturbances in relationships. And Shilpy will take us through some proposals, and then we'll inquire together. Over to you, Shilpy. Thank you.
Thanks, Kalyan. Hi, everyone. Yeah.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi. So today we are discussing the disturbances in relationships. So we all are a part of so many relationships all through our life, and we go through various experiences, various emotions in them. So let's see what. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So how do we see them right now, the relationships? We have these relationships. With some people I get along much more than others. I like being with certain people, but I do not know if they feel the same way or the reverse. We need to adjust in the relationships that we have. There are so many more. These are just glimpses of the kind of expressions that we find people mentioning when it comes to relationships. So this presentation, as we will go, it is all about the explorations that we are doing, and we will have these reflection pauses in the middle, so that we can reflect together on the proposals that we are making here. So what's going on? What are the disturbances in relationships? Feeling that I am not understood or not being able to understand. A lot of times there are a lot of people one connects with, one has conversations with, but do not find that I'm able to connect with those people. Constantly in some relationships, we are constantly arguing, bickering. There is this feeling that I want to have a congenial relationship, but one doesn't know how to do that. There is a feeling that, and with all of this going on, there's a feeling which props in, which says I am not good enough in relationships, feeling lost in relationships. And with all of this going on, we have created multitude of distractions for ourselves. So whether it is being on social media, whether it is in being engaged in various hobbies, we have, whether it is about reading books or watching movies, we have distracted ourselves in various ways, so that we don't feel what we are feeling in those relationships. And hence there is also there's a feeling of loneliness despite relationships. So what follows long-term and short-term when we have these experiences, these emotions about relationships? What we need to understand is that when we have these emotions coming in, they also bring in chemical change in the chemistry within our bodies. So there is a physiological change which happens in the body when there are these emotions which are constantly flowing within us. Also they bring in a lot of, with these emotional disturbances, there's a lot of overlooking the lifestyle that we have. The flow of energy with these chemical changes also gets impacted within us. And so in the long term, we are seeing a whole lot of people facing anxiety and depression. insomnia. These have become as common as every third person that we meet, we find that they are suffering with these things. There are pains and aches, there are migraines that so many people in the modern lifestyle are facing. There are chronic diseases. There are right from a diabetes, thyroid, to a cancer and heart disease, BP. All of this is coming in the long term or in the short term, as a part and parcel of disturbances in relationships. Of course, there's a new age toolkit that we have established. We are exploring, I would say, through either positivity or gratitude, or bringing in acceptance, or with the proposal of giving space to each other, or whether it is to do with loving yourself, or even proposals like a woman empowerment or liberation. So trying out various things, yet the disturbances and discomforts in relationships linger on. So let's take a break, reflect upon what has been your experiences with understanding relationships. Would love to hear from everybody who's here.
Hi. I
Hi.
really like the break slide here. And from what I have seen as a pattern, uh, when I have disturbances in my relationship is when I have um, an amount of expectations like I have on one person, which just goes multiplies and multiplies, and everything what I actually probably need as basic necessity, probably I would expect that person to give. So in
Yes.
that way, and there's an disturbance in the understanding, and hence the relationship gets to a turmoil.
Yes. Very true. We will explore this further as we go along in the presentation.
Okay.
Anyone else who would like to share?
Hermit wants to share something, and there is a chat
Yes.
coming in. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. So I think for me, initially I was a people pleaser, and that is why I was disturbed because despite of doing everything, I would not be given the due credit. But I think over the years I've learned that it's important for me to be happy before pleasing anybody else. So it's a learning phase, and I'm learning day by day. So disturbances happen when, as it was rightly mentioned, when we have expectations from others and those expectations are not fulfilled.
Yes. That's one way we look at it. Yes, true.
Shilpy, there is a message on the chat from Amistress.
Yes, I mean, yes.
I don't know
Hi.
pronouncing that. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, she has unmuted also. Please go
So
ahead.
can I
Yeah, hi, Amy.
talk? Can I
Yes,
talk?
please.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, continuing the question of, or rather the discussion of the lady who said about being a people pleaser. Now, I just wanted to ask, what if you're living with one, and you can see that that creates the discord between the immediate person. Like you can make out the partner that you have maybe an extremely high people pleaser. Then what? And how
Yes.
does one go on adjusting to this attribute of a certain the person as close to you as a spouse?
Yes. We will explore all of this. We're just
Yeah,
trying to
because
understand the kind of things that are coming
yeah,
to us.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Creates disharmony sometimes. And from what I have realized is I'm the only one readjusting my mind to get back to normal, maybe a day later, 2 days later, or whatever time it takes me to soothe myself again. That's what I'm thinking. That it's crushing inside, but it's not getting my uh, what should I say? It's not getting my problem across, or rather my observation across, without turning it into another set of arguments or another set of um, whatever. I
Yes.
don't know how
Yeah.
to term it. I think you
Yes.
get my point.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. So great. Should we go ahead?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So what is really a relationship? It's really important to understand what exactly is a relationship. The relationship is actually about the relatedness that we have with our surroundings. The relationship is about being present, absolutely present with all our senses. And that brings in a sense of deep connectedness with whatever, wherever we are, whatever we are doing. So that is really what relationship is. It's not, we've not said about specific people, but it is being able to relate to wherever we are, to whatever is happening around us, being present, absolutely present with all our senses, and feeling the sense of connectedness. But what do we experience in our relationships? There are these relationships where we find ourselves having feeling joys, excitement, pleasure, pride, happiness, admiration, contentment, fun, all of these great feelings that we call them, or disappointment, hurt, regret, anger, sadness, disgust, embarrassment, feeling dejected, feeling fearful, doubtful, frustration, yearning. So all of this is going on actually as our current experiences in relationships, and much more. These are just glimpses of what we are going through. So what really leads to these experiences? There are all that everybody shared also. We are talking about, we have these images and opinions, and these images and opinions, whether they match with my experience in the relationship matches with those images and opinions. So then there are sensations related to that, which we term them as good, good feeling, or relationships where we have a good relationship going on. All these, there is a mismatch which is happening in those expectations, the images and opinions that we have with the real experience. So then we have conflicts. So with these images and opinions, let's go a little further into understanding this. So in our life, we have over the years of growing up, we have image of myself, and it changes, but it is still, there is an image that I have. I may change it, like Harmeet shared that, I was a people pleaser and I am now not, but the both of them are images that we are carrying about ourselves. We have images about each and every person that we meet. We are not realizing we are doing this, but we are doing it all the time. We are evolving images, but they are going on constantly in our mind. Then we also have image of how we expect this relationship to be. We also have an image of how we expect each experience to be in that relationship. And then we also have image of inanimate things like, I have an image of how I would like my house to be, how I would like my holiday to be, how I would like my, any small experience also to be, not just in a relationship, but otherwise also. We'll get back to how this is actually influencing the images that we have about things beyond relationships also. But we are constantly drawing conclusions and fixations about each of the images that I have. So I would like this relationship to be like this. I would like this person to be behaving like this with me. So I have these constant, conclusions being drawn about it, and I'm very fixated about it most of the time without realizing, of course. This is just on the lighter note. We are facing this in various ways. So what's going on? I have a preconceived image about myself, about others, about how our relationship or interaction should be. And then there is a real experience. There's a real experience of a relationship, of the interactions that I have, and also of, not just in a specific relationship, but anywhere, anything that we do, there's a real experience. So what are we doing most of the time? We are constantly comparing the images that I have in my mind with the real experience. And the real experience is far beyond the limited images that I have in my mind. So most of the time, it is not completely matching with the preconceived images that I have. And that's exactly where the conflict exists. So the conflict is because we have these images which are already existing, and I'm trying to match the real experience with that. And what am I trying to match it within the real experience? A very tiny part of the whole experience I'm trying to match with the preconceived image, because my image is also very small part. Only that much I have been able to make in a specific relationship. So the real experience is far, far more wholesome than the tiny part that I am comparing with my preconceived image. What all is going on when I'm forming these images? How am I forming them? I have an interpretation of a person, of a situation. I have interpreted it. This is not, I cannot say that this is the whole experience. It's my interpretation of, what I'm seeing. It's my interpretation. And so, not just because it's an interpretation, but because the whole experience is much larger, what I am seeing as an image is only partial. And I am being conclusive about the image that I have. The moment I have an image about myself, I have an image about the other person, about the situation, I am concluding it in my mind. It happens mechanically. One is not aware that one is doing it at this point of time. It's static. Most of the time, it is not changing at the pace, because in reality, the experience is changing in every moment. But the amount that I am able to gather in my mind as an image is static. For most of the part, it is static from moment to moment. It changes over a period of time, and then again, that's another replacement of an image which comes in, and still it remains static. And it brings in comparison. So what's going on really between two people? There are two people who are existing, say, in a relationship. These two people, both of them have an image of their own selves. I have an image of myself. The other person also has an image of his or her own self. And then I have an image of the other person, and the other person has an image of me. Then we have an image of how currently the relationship exists. And then we also have an image of how it should exist. And there's a constant interplay happening between these images. So can we observe that it's actually only interplay of images? Are we really thinking that these are real people who are interacting? So the interaction is only of images. The real people who are there in a relationship are actually missing. The real people are far more wholesome than the image that I have of myself or the other. And the real experience is also far more wholesome than how I see it and how the other person sees it. So actually, there is a interaction happening of only images. It's not of the real people. So it would really not be very far-fetched to say, in presence of images that we are carrying all the time, there is no real relationship. We are thinking that this is what I call a relationship, but it is really not a relationship. It's only interaction of images. So would love to hear what is your reflection on this understanding.
Yeah, Dr. Dubey, you unmuted, wanted to say something?
Yes, actually, it is very true what has been narrated yet. Very beautifully explained everything. Actually, the image we carry for each and every person, whoever we meet, second time, first time we are not aware some unknown people, but first when we meet someone for a few minutes or hours we spend, and we make an image of them, and when we meet next time, we see him or her as with our image reflection. This is very true, very beautifully narrated, very understandable, and thanks to Shilpy, who has narrated very beautifully about a relationship. And I want to hear, and I would like to hear from other people their reflections.
Dr. Dubey, I actually wanted to say that when we say that the first time I don't have an image, I do most of the time have an image. Even in that first time, I have an image of myself, and I have an image of how I would like to see this specific relationship. I've already formed it. So it's not probably without an image even the first time we meet?
For sure, we had already our own image, but when we meet sometime, we meet as a blank paper to them. I have not seen them before the first time they visit to me. So in my opinion, and in this thing, the first time we meet, we don't have actually image. Yes, we can see our reflection in them according to our expectation. That is different thing, but this is from my side. Thank you.
Yes.
Like Harmit wants to reflect. Please, Harmit.
Yeah, I think I got a very beautiful takeaway from the previous slide is that it is a play of images and the real person and experience is much larger than what we are thinking about. It opens up a lot of things for me because, I think we see only a partial side of a person and make a lot of thoughts and a chain of thoughts come in and connect and it restricts us. But if we just get rid of that and experience the moment the way it is, I think relationships would be very different. So thank you for the previous slide. It opened up a lot of thoughts for me.
Thanks for your observation.
Yeah, Tanmay, please go ahead.
Hi, Shilpi.
Hi, Tanmay.
So well you said, and I'm new to this subject, but still, I felt so connected. And, yeah, what you are telling is so true. We always carry some image for every person. It is already in our mind, this person is good or bad, he talks this way only or she talks this way only. If we don't carry anything, any image, then always we that time according to our mood, or if we are in a good happy mood, we take I think for me, not we, I can say it is me, when I am in good mood, I feel all relationships are very happy go lucky, everything straight. And when my mood is not good, I feel everybody is in a complex society, or every relationship is very complex, not that straight what I am thinking. I don't know whether it is my thought or whether it happens to everybody. Really don't know that. You can highlight about that. I'll be very happy.
Yes, I think it's an experience for a whole lot of us, because we are looking at the world from our own place of where we are.
Yeah,
So
we
that's,
conceive some image for everybody, and usually take in next meeting also I keep remembering, if first meeting was good with XYZ person, I go with the good smile. Yes, okay, this person I have to meet. Or, some people, if first impression is not good, second time we don't go and meet also. Something. Even in family relationship also. Somebody's calls, we take in one call. In some calls, we just avoid, or, we don't answer. Everything is, I think, preconceived image what we carry in our mind. So how to get rid of that, daily,
yes,
to take it as a fresh slate. How to go about it?
yes, we will explore that. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll try and explore it. Yes. Shall we go ahead?
Yes.
So how does a real relationship, did somebody want to say something?
No, no,
Uh,
I said that let's go ahead. Yeah.
yes. How a relationship, real relationship experience happens. Let's understand that. When we are completely in touch with our five senses, and so there is a sense, there is something called responsive memory. So we have a certain experience, either with one person or in any interaction earlier. So there is a memory of it, but that's only a tentative memory, which actually aids in observation next time. So it is not that one can completely forget the earlier experience that we've had. There is some fraction of remembrance that remains of every interaction, but it is never conclusive when it is from responsive memory. So it is always coming from a place of, let's see how it is this time. It was like this, but let's see how it is this time. And that much is the only role of the responsive memory. But the primary experience is with the presence of five senses to experience the whole of the experience, not just what matches or not matches with my image. It's a multi-dimensional experience. It is not an experience of only, some part of a very small part which we are actually doing in an image. It's not fractional, but it's from various dimensions, and that experience of a real relationship is unique in every moment. It is changing, but our image is the one which is actually keeping it constant. We are thinking, oh, this interaction was like that only the last time, the way it was, or it is actually building up more of the same image that I am carrying in my mind, but the actual real relationship experience is unique every moment. How does it happen? The sensory, the five senses that we have, the sense of smell, touch, taste, sound, and sight, all of these are a part of that experience, and much more than that as well. So it is said that one may hear loads of stories about a tree, a specific tree. One may watch a whole lot of videos of the same tree. One may read a lot of things about the same tree, but the actual experience of hugging that tree is way beyond all of it. How is that? I have an image that is existing about that tree from all of these, but that experience is far bigger than all the things that I have accumulated as knowledge or as memory about that tree. It's far bigger. So the real experience is tentative. It is not conclusive. It is never saying, oh, this is exactly how it is. This is exactly how our relationship is, when it is real. And it is presence with all my senses with full energy. So that's how our real experience is. So let's recap what causes the conflict. It's the mismatch with the existing image. It is looking at only a part of the whole experience. It is ignoring the sensory inputs because I am so overpowered by the image that I have, and whether that image matches with my current experience or not. I'm ignoring the actual experience, the real sensory inputs which exist in the relationship, in any interaction. I'm absolutely, most of the time we are not looking at it. We are only looking at the emotions. We are looking at the verbal interaction which is happening. I'm not looking at the whole experience, only a very small part of it. And that's what causes conflict. Let's take a reflective pause.
We have around 2 minutes to go for this session. So I propose that let's rejoin with a break of 2 minutes perhaps.
Yeah.
Right? Unless
should we just spend a minute here if anybody wants to reflect?
Yes, let's spend. Yeah.
I think Ami has unmuted.
Yeah.
Shilpy,
Yeah, Varnika.
there's this,
Oh, Amy, yes. Yeah.
yeah, the five senses, I quite understand what this is. But there, at the beginning of every relationship or I wouldn't call it relationship, of every meeting that you have with someone, whether it culminates into a further relationship or whether it, just ends there, has also a lot to do with your intuitive way to, it's like an unseen connect. It's like an unseen connect. It's got nothing to do with these five senses sometimes, but I myself have experienced this. Either it clicks in a shot, which I neither have I touched the person or talked to the person or heard the person, but there is some element that gives it an instant connect. There are even times when it is an instant disconnect. When you've met somebody and there is something that has put you off or something which you are not further interested in, pursuing. And then over a period of time, this is my experience with what I have gone through.
Can we rejoin and continue? Because a few seconds are left for this.
Okay,
Yes,
so
let's
I'll finish it. I'll finish it in a second by simply saying that there are times when you redo the thing